recognizing there's certain ideas that are only going to work if your channel is big enough, right? So you
And
kind of have
that's
to
not
also.
that's not like an insult
No,
to
not really.
creators either. It's just how it works.
Yeah. My name is Rocket Sledge, or just Sledge for short, and I am a Rocket League YouTuber and part-time streamer, I guess.
Nice.
Favorite season?
Yep.
I'd have to. I'm kind of weird in that I like winter, I think, and I live in Canada. So, yeah, I'm gonna say winter, fall.
I don't think that's weird. Winter in Canada is probably beautiful.
It is, but it's very cold, right?
Yeah, true. Favorite seasoning?
Favorite seasoning? Oh boy. I'm not big on like spices and stuff like that. I'm
Oh,
like a
that's fair. That's
bland
fair.
person. Yeah.
That's fair.
I like sweet. Okay, I don't know if it's a seasoning, but
A
like
sauce
kind of
works too.
yeah, like sweet Thai chili.
Oh,
Somebody
delicious.
got me into that, and I don't like spicy things, and I don't like. I'm not big into that, and some reason I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it, and maybe I should just open my boundaries a little bit more because I actually am like addicted
You're
to it
probably
now.
like we're just gonna introduce you to spices, and you're gonna be like, oh, I actually do like them. If you
Maybe.
ever get a chance to get a fried chicken sandwich, get like a fried chicken sandwich with sweet Thai chili sauce on top of it. It
Okay.
is amazing. Okay, speaking of food, least favorite food.
Oh, least favorite food. I think anything with curry in it
You don't like
would
curry?
be. Yeah. See, like I said,
Like in the
most.
spices.
Yeah, the spices thing. Yeah, I think it would have to be something with curry in it. It's gonna turn me right off.
Oh, one day you'll have good curry. I hope.
I'm sorry.
I'm thinking of
Sorry.
you. Okay, if you could get a follow from anyone on Twitter, who would you want it to be?
A follow on Twitter.
They get to see your tweets. You get
Yeah,
to interact with theirs. You're in that
I
private
think I
cell.
want to go like selfish. So I'm like somebody that's gonna help me like blow up. So like a Mr. Beast follow. That's what I want.
It's so funny. It like transcends platforms. I ask people like, who would you want to stream with? Who would you want to
Yeah.
create content with, or a Twitter follow? And somewhere, somehow, Mr. Beast is always there. We love you, Mr. Beast. Is the point here?
And I don't
We
even
love
watch
you.
that much of his content is the sad thing. But I'm just trying to think of like selfishly, if I got that follow, I feel like that could help me, right? That's the
Hey,
angle I'm going
you're
for.
honest. Okay, favorite animal.
Favorite animal? Probably a dog. Pretty simple.
Dogs are the best. Do YouTubers actually see the sun? You did say you like
Um,
winter and it's cold, so
yeah,
you're backing
I
up my.
closed the blinds. I closed the blinds for this interview. We don't see much of the sun in
Oh
the
god.
wintertime here. Yeah, I have to go outside and like play with my dogs and stuff like that. So I'm forced into the sun from time to time.
Yeah, I have a giant blackout curtain blocking the only window in my room, so it's just like death. Why death? Darkness. Black
Same
or black or green olives.
N-
You have to eat one, or
I
you
have
can,
to eat
or
one?
you can actually just say absolutely not, no olives.
No, I'm gonna say no olives. My wife loves olives, and I hate them. And it's almost led to divorce. I think a few times. 'Cause
Soulmates,
she eats
though.
just
There's a
eating them in front of me. I'm like, looks so gross.
yeah,
Okay,
no.
if I had to eat one, I would eat a green one.
Green olives are better. I do agree.
Okay.
No, there's a whole episode on the olive theory on How I Met Your Mother that it's like if one person likes olives and one person doesn't, they're soulmates because the other person can eat the other person's olives. They did like a
Oh,
whole
okay, that
thing on the
works.
olive theory.
I did not know that.
They did a whole thing on the olive theory. Okay, switching gears more to like what we do and stuff. PS4 or Xbox controller?
Xbox is all I've ever used since the start,
That's
and
fair.
I've tried a PS. It just feels so small in my hands. And now, on the positive side, I like how PlayStation has the symmetrical joysticks. And so
Mm-hmm.
when I got a Thrustmaster controller, ad hashtag ad, I was able to like switch positions and have the Xbox shape, but the symmetrical joysticks, and I haven't gone back since then.
Oh,
So I
that's
kind of like that.
awesome.
So, yeah, it's kind of like the positive of that controller is the mod. You can move stuff around, and so
Yeah, see, I grew up on Xbox and Xbox controllers, but Ranny, a little bit over a year ago, he wanted me to try his controls, and he was like, they're not going to work with an Xbox controller. You're not going to be able to hold it right. Try it with a PS4
Oh,
controller.
okay.
And so trying to get used to those, I just switched to a PS4 controller, and I haven't switched back. But like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get my hands getting adjusted to like holding a smaller controller. I get that one. Okay, switching gears a little bit to more of the like detailed questions. If you could
Okay.
go back and
Mhm.
tell the you that just started creating content any advice, what would it be?
Um, Probably not think so hard. Um, I feel like I held myself back from doing certain content that probably would have been successful at the time. So I either got too complicated or overthought things. Where I look back at like Sunless's videos when he first started,
Mhm.
and he was putting out like 4 minute videos, 3 minute videos, and they did really well. And I think I should have done some stuff like that at the start.
I think that's something that everyone can struggle with though, is like overthinking whether like it's going to do good, you know? Like being like, well,
Yeah.
not necessarily like we all have a standard. Like it's okay to have a
Mhm.
standard, but like overthinking what like if you want to do it, you should try it.
And I think another thing too is we have to think like viewers, not creators. And I think it's pretty obvious that a lot of content that's made by the creator, they wouldn't necessarily watch it themselves, but
Yeah.
there's a huge audience for it. So I think like sometimes there's ideas, and I'm like, oh, that kind of sounds dumb. And then someone else does that idea and it blows up. I'm like, well, I guess I should have just done it
That
because
has
there's an
been
audience. So you kind of have to think
oh
like the common viewer rather than maybe what you appreciate sometimes.
yeah, no, that hits hard. That hits home for me. Like I a lot so much stuff that I wanted to do last year. When I was trying being like, oh, I'm gonna do something huge on YouTube. You know what I mean? I don't know why. It was kind of a combination of the overthinking and then just not doing it or thinking
Mhm.
from like a viewer perspective. I'd sit there and I'd be like, okay, I have this great idea, but I need to like it has to be perfect and I have to do it at the right time. And you know, like I'm gonna market it the right way. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna hype it up the right way and all of this. And then I'd end up being like, well, maybe no one will watch it. Maybe it's not worth the time or effort. And then I'd just like pop on Twitter or YouTube or something like a few weeks later and someone will have done it and it
Yeah.
did really well. And it's not like being jealous or any of it. It's just like, well, damn,
Mhm.
you know, like I could
Exactly.
have, like, I should have just done it. I should have just done it. I should have just done it. Um, okay. If demos did not exist, like in the game, like you could not
Okay.
demo someone in the game, do you think
Mhm.
there would have been another part of Rocket League that you would have asked, like mastered or like looked to master?
Um, I feel like just because the game is designed for cars to come in contact with each other, I don't think it would have changed very much for me. Because it's the whole sports side of the game that really got me into it.
Mhm.
And it's about if you like if you like playing hockey or understand hockey, like getting position on people and using your body to the advantage just kind of made sense to me in the game. So I don't know. It's not as flashy bumps versus demos, but bumps would
It would
still
have
be
been
there,
bumps.
right? So
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been there. Now it's not as clickbaity, I don't think. But I feel like I would have played the same way once you kind of figure that out.
Yeah, that's fair. How do you relax away from Rocket League content?
How do I relax away from Rocket League?
They're just like relax when you're not creating content, not playing Rocket League.
I okay. When am I not creating content?
Mm,
I'm trying to get better at like spending some time to like refresh a little bit.
I
And usually
feel
that
that.
happens like between midnight and 2 a.m. So I should be sleeping. So I think lately I've just been watching some like shows. I don't watch much TV, so kind
Yeah,
of
that's
forcing
fair.
myself to like not do something a little more less involved, just kind of sit back and appreciate some comedy or something like that. So that's what I've been doing lately.
It's good to find the
Uh,
time.
yeah. So that's kind of a big thing for me, I think, right now.
Awesome. Okay. You share a lot of content, you know, on YouTube or Twitter or places of your son playing Rocket League and his experiences with that. Does he like Rocket League as much as you? Is he having fun
He
with it?
does, but I think he goes through waves. It's hard to keep kids focused, I think, when they're younger. So he'll play Rocket League for a while and then to play Minecraft for a long time, right? So like we haven't done much Rocket League in the last few months. It's because he just either focused on another game or been focusing on other stuff. So and
Yeah.
you don't want to like force him. Well, you need to play Rocket League.
The
So when he's
future
playing,
generations,
yeah,
you must play Rocket League 5 hours a
that's
day.
right. Yeah, make it like a chore. So
You
when
can
he's playing,
you
yeah, he
can
likes
watch
it.
your TV after you play your Rocket League.
Yeah. Have you done your Rocket League today? Have you done your training packs?
Oh God.
So
Oh God, I actually, I say oh God because I can actually see that being a future with like esports,
Yep.
the way sports. Oh
Yep.
God.
Yep. Have you done your training pack?
How long did you practice dribbling? Oh
How long
God.
did I practice dribbling? Yeah.
Oh no, well, no,
Oh,
I
that's
was
not a
just,
question. That's not a question.
No,
I'm
it's
like,
not a question.
you told me you weren't going to give me questions that would make me uncomfortable, and all of a
Sorry.
sudden I was uncomfortable. I'm like, crap, I have to dribble?
Rocket
Is that
Sledge, how
required?
long did you dribble today?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. As demo experts in the community, who would win in a 1v1 right now? You or Woody?
Who would win in a 1v1?
Mm-hmm. If I was like,
Woody,
if I
for
was like,
sure.
I got Woody in the call. Let's 1v1.
Okay. Yeah, Woody would win. Woody actually plays Rocket League. I don't play Rocket League.
Okay, that's
make
fair.
content.
That's a fair answer. That's a fair answer.
See, like,
I like to
yeah.
think that I don't actually play Rocket League either, but I'm just bad.
Yeah, like a lot of my playtime is on stream, and I don't even stream that often. And I wouldn't consider it very productive, like playtime when you're just like playing with private matches with viewers and different ranks and stuff like that. So
Yeah, see,
yeah,
that's
I'm
what I
definitely-
try to explain to people when they pull up my hours and they're like, that's a lot of hours for the rank you are.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I played Rocket League for the very first time on stream. My whole Rocket League journey has been on stream, and I was doing ridiculously long streams so I wouldn't have time to play it offline as much. And I'm like, you don't understand how many of those hours through the Steam hours are not played, and they're not practiced, and they're not training. How dare you?
Yeah. Last Thursday, when I was streaming, I was trying to remember when I had last played Rocket League, and I figured out it was the stream before. So it's been a whole week since I really played the game, yet Steam's showing me like 50 hours in the last 2 weeks. I'm like, well, that's a lot of replay file time, recording, sitting in a private match.
Yeah. Sometimes forgetting to close your game.
It's really hard to compare hours because there's so many elements that need to be taken into account. And especially even if you are a player when you started, right? Like the game's changed so much. Like the resources that were available in 2015 were bare minimum, whereas if you started, say, in 2017, you had this head start, which means you could have reached a rank in 200 hours versus 1,000, right? And so it's really hard to compare hours because there's so many different variables.
So I actually was talking about that on stream last week because probably what I'm trying to think of before free to play, probably like 2 months before free to play. You know, if people came in and they were like, I hit X rank in blank hours, you would have been like, no, you didn't. You know?
Yeah.
But then there's this new wave of people who, as it was getting popular, came in over the past year, and especially since free to play. You get people coming in and they're like, well, I'm legitimately, and they'll play in my lobbies, you know what I mean? Or they'll be like, can I play with you? Here's my rank. You can see it. You know what I mean? And they're like, and I've hit this in like 100 hours. And you have to think about it. Like if people are actually using their time wisely, like when a lot of the community started playing Rocket League, there weren't the YouTube videos, the tutorials, the streamers to watch that were already at that level, who you could ask questions to and go, hey, what should I focus on if I'm actually wanting to rank up? And they have all of that, so they're not wasting their if they're coming from a competitive scene like Fortnite, and it's a new game, and for them it's a new game, you know, from Fortnite, so they're wanting that competitive scene. They're already coming in with that mindset. And they're also just a generation that absorbs content easier than we do, you know? So yeah, like it's crazy to see. It's crazy to see. But speaking of content, your content and the videos that you put out are very well edited. They're very well put together. They stand out a lot in the community. What videos are you most proud of?
Video I'm most proud of. Anytime I can do something which like is very unique in Rocket League, I think, because Rocket League's a very narrow game. I think like there's only so many things you can do with it. So the content that really rises above the rest is somebody that takes it and does something different. So you can think of like Sunless and as like Pokemon Battle, or some of the modding that goes on, or the map making. So being unique is very important. And I think for me, if I can like tell a story in Rocket League, whether it be fictional or not, I think that's something that I really enjoy. So if I was picking my favorite video, it would probably be one that's called "The Story of a Grand Champion That Lost It All."
I
Uh,
remember. I remember. I think you did. That's the one that had the really cool thumbnail. It was really fun. Was it the one like looking
yeah,
into the water?
yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it was like a historically accurate tale, but it was completely fictional. Um, and I told it like a documentary. It has a puppet in it. Like it has all these things that you're
Hmm.
like, how has that become a successful video? But I had a lot of fun writing it and putting it together, and it now has 200,000 views, which is pretty insane for, I think, a video that's that weird, I guess, for lack of a better term. So I think that's probably my favorite. I'd like to do something like that again, but it's also one of those things where it's like, how do you repeat that? How do you take that to it? Repeat it again. So
I mean, I think that's
that's
a the whole accomplishment in itself, though, because you took a game that is typically, not story based, and you, like you said, there's limited things you can do in Rocket League, and you found something that was wildly unique, um, to do with the content, and I just think that's really awesome.
yeah. But yeah, there is something in the works to continue a different story, like of a similar idea though. So I hope to come there again into that area and repeat that. We'll see though.
Well, that's exciting. I can't wait to see that. You said 200,000 views, which is leading into our next question. Speaking of 200,000, you're approaching 200,000 subs on YouTube, which is huge.
Yeah.
And it's huge for a Rocket League content creator. It's huge for, YouTuber out there. And I feel like people compare a lot of those numbers to people who are pro players as Rocket League content creators, but those are very different. Those are very different than the people who just purely create content
Mhm.
on YouTube around the game, because they don't have that following from RLCS and things like that. So I think when you hit those numbers, it's wildly impressive in the Rocket League community. So with approaching that and all the hard work that you've done and all the work that you've put in, and like we said, your videos are really well edited, and you put a lot of time and quality into what you put out. When did you know that Rocket League content creation was something that you wanted to commit to?
um, Kind of was pushed into necessity for that point. Like I lost my job in April, 2020, and that's when I decided I was going to like push for Rocket League content. So it was just like I had the time. This is my chance to actually try it. And it went okay, but it didn't go very well actually until like free to play was kind of my lucky break, to tell you the truth. So I was putting out lots of videos, better videos than I ever had before, but I never really got the views, which
Yeah.
is that's YouTube. Like YouTube is a tough game, and there's some luck involved, and there's trends and things like that. So free to play came along and actually made it a reality where all of a sudden the returns matched with my desire to do it. But yeah, so I was grinding hard before I lost my job, doubled down in April, and put in a good about 6 months of work with not much return. And then everything was there for when free to play came. And it wasn't even the like free to play week. My channel didn't do anything. I'm not really a tutorial channel, so I didn't even really
Yeah.
see anything at that. But it was like a few weeks later, then all of a sudden people started coming in, and I had a few key videos that came at the right time. And that's kind of pushed me into this spot where things have going well.
Yeah, no, and it shows. And it kind of shows that, I feel like a lot of people get defeated when they, put things out for a while, especially YouTube. People get
It's tough.
defeated
Yeah.
with YouTube because YouTube you're putting a little bit more time into.
Yeah,
And then it can take a while.
and you've kind of caught me in a funny spot right now because I think it moves in cycles. Just because you hit 160,000 subs doesn't mean that's not going to happen, because subs don't mean views anymore in YouTube. Like it's all about your YouTube pushing your content. Like subscribers are only about 20% of your views if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Um, so like right now, I've had a couple of videos come out in the last few weeks that haven't done well. So now I'm like, there's those questions that come up. Okay, well, what's happening next?
What did
I
I
think
do to
that kind
piss off YouTube?
of that's right, and it can be anything from the wrong title, the wrong thumbnail. There's so many things that could go wrong, And that's where YouTube's a little bit different than Twitch, because like Twitch, if you have a bad stream, you go online the next day and you're probably going to continue your growth. You're still going to get your viewers that you were having before. Whereas if YouTube, if I have a bad release, you're only as good as your last release. So YouTube stops pushing your content. So across the channel, your views just start going down. And how do you recover? You put out another video. Well, how long does that take?
Yeah.
A week? You don't just come back the next day and like do it again. So it can be a little bit discouraging when that happens a couple times in a row. So that's where I'm at today, actually. Last few videos, I'm like, you look at the numbers and people will be like, well, what are you complaining about? But there's a certain level you need to be at to make it as a content creator if it's your job. So you kind of have those levels that you want to maintain, and when you don't get them, it hurts.
Yeah, it's a job, and I feel like people don't realize that for like full-time content creators, streamers as well, and YouTubers. Is I see people, a lot of comments, or like especially live on stream too, when you can't filter out the comments and stuff. Is you mentioned that something like, oh, it underperformed, or oh, like I'm losing subs, you know, like whether that's on YouTube or on Twitch, or like people aren't really, like my views have gone down, you know, on YouTube or Twitch. You mentioned those things, and there's always that person. There's always that person that comes through and they're like, yeah, well, you should be grateful.
Yeah, that's right.
you should be grateful.
And you should.
There's still gratitude, but it's also still your job. And if you're a full-time content creator, so if you're not seeing growth, it's okay to be like, oh, I'm slightly concerned. I'm not saying going on and going, why is no one watching? You know, it's like, and blah, 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 blah. It's just like, it's okay. And it's very human to be concerned about those numbers or what you're doing and things like that, because this is livelihood. So what I'm saying is, if you're listening right now, you need to go like and comment and boost the engagement on all of Rocket Sledge's videos.
Yeah. I need it right now. Yeah. It's because nothing's guaranteed, right?
Trends.
So you don't know what's happening tomorrow. You're putting time, like I'm putting time into another video right now, and it becomes harder because you're like, okay, what is this one actually going to pay off the time, because the last two haven't. And so there's a lot of emotional stuff that comes along, but all you can do is put out another video, right? And just keep on grinding.
Keep working.
But sometimes it ends. You can find lots of channels that blew up for a while and then stopped, and maybe there's a reason. Maybe nobody knows what the reason is. So you always have that in the back of your mind. It's like, when's the ride over? You know, there's potential to be 1 million subscribers. There's channels out there that do it, right? There's the viewers, but there's also the potential to be a channel that just kind of peters out. So you're always fighting with that. It's tough.
Yeah. It's worth it, though.
I'm just trying to say YouTubers have it tough, right? I'm just going to complain,
you do.
right?
Yes, you do. And that is perfectly okay. Let it all out. Let it all out.
Feel sorry for me, guys. Feel sorry for me and my 100,000 subscribers.
God.
No.
Grateful.
It's a crazy number when you think about it.
That many people chose to like your content.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Huge. It's huge. Anyway, you're married. You have a son. You have dogs. You live in Canada. You go outside and you play with your dogs. How do you balance that? How do you find the balance with, a family and creating content and pushing it out there?
I give up sleep would be the major one.
Oh, yes. Correct answer.
You don't need sleep. It's people have been lying to you for years. Sleep is not necessary. I just, during the days it's a little tougher. Like my kids homeschooling right now because of the virus, and so there's a lot of like, get a little bit of work done, do something else, get interrupted, and that's just the reality of it. So for me, it means I'm just working whenever I have a chance. I am working usually. I probably shouldn't be doing that, but I want to get to a point where I feel like the channel is in a better spot. Whenever the channel's in a good spot, you kind of relax a little bit.
You want to work to the part where you can relax comfortably and not be worried.
Yeah. So the balance issue is something I'm still working on, I feel like. So I don't really have the answer of how to do it right.
I don't think there is one.
Luckily, I'm not like in a basement away from everything. I'm kind of on the main floor with my office, so I can kind of be involved even when I am working. And then when anything that really requires my attention, like audio editing and things, I'm going to be like really concentrating on recording audio. I do that at night when like people are asleep and stuff like that, because that's just allows me to focus.
Yeah, I get that 100%. Well, your answers have been so detailed and it's been so awesome, and I've had a really, really good time having this conversation, and I hope you have too. I like to wrap up every single one of these with asking for a bit of advice that you would give
Oh boy.
people.
Oh boy.
You yourself and your content that you put out, at least, you know, in the beginning, you found your niche in Rocket League, which is something that can be very complicated to do in like a narrow game and with narrow options there, but you did it and you found the thing that stood out, the thing that you could be recognized for. What is your advice for people out there who are trying to carve out their own niche?
In Rocket League?
It could be in Rocket League, or it could just be in
be
content creation.
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah, I think just being creative, like being good at the game usually only works if you're a pro. That really, like, there's the odd like double, triple threat, like you think of Musty, who's like a good content creator, good player and stuff, where he has everything. But the odds are you're probably not all of those, right? So you're either going to be a pro, or you're going to have something creative or a personality you're going to bring to it. So it seems like it'll be pretty obvious if you don't have that, because the first thing you think of is, oh, I'm going to do a road to GC. So if that's the first thing you can think of, you're probably not going to make it. So you got to think outside the box,
because people don't want to see a casual person do a road to GC.
No, that's the thing. So you got to basically knock a few things off your list that you know is not going to be different. And yeah, being different is the biggest thing, and that's like standing out in any industry. But also being different doesn't mean it's better too, right? So I think you just got to accept that there's also a few other things you can't control. So focus on the things you can. So putting out content. Yeah, putting out content in general is just going to make you better, right? If you're trying to make the perfect video as your first video, you're probably wasting a lot of time. Get a video out there, learn from it, move on, start putting videos together. It's going to take you 10 or 20 videos to even start seeing views, most likely. But yeah, then you want to start being different and recognizing there's certain ideas that are only going to work if your channel is big enough. So you can't be too different. It kind of contradicts itself. There's a lot of things on my lists of video ideas that it would not trend for me, but I know if my channel was bigger, it wouldn't matter. It'd be a good video and people would see it, right? So you kind of have to
that's not like an insult to creators
really.
either. It's just how it works.
Yeah. And there's been other creators I've talked to this about. Like I think Striped is a good example, where his content is kind of taking some similar ideas that have been done and putting his own spin on it, and it's enabled his channel to really take off. But it worked for him because he was a little bit different, but he wasn't going. So he has all these artistic ideas, I think, but he's not doing them yet because he knows he needs to get that base viewership first.
Yeah.
So
I feel that
sometimes.
No, but thank you for all the answers. I feel like you really have a way with, kind of like you do with your content, of just like putting the detail in there. That's really good for people to listen to, and I really enjoyed this, and I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for being a part of it, guys. What I need from you is, kind of like we said there, is to go sub to Rocket Sledge on YouTube. The link will be down below, and I would love it if you guys would get him to 200,000 subscribers. I'll check in with you guys in a couple weeks and see if you did it, and if not, I'm gonna be really irritated.
Nice. I appreciate that.
Me and my huge audience. No, but seriously, thank you for doing this. Thank you, and thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.